Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TED Talk. As you can see, we're changing the scenery quite a lot, by the way. The previous episode that you might have seen, we were in Flamus' flat here in Belgrade. Now we are not in the flat of my next guest, but we are in the press room in the Fisher Playground. With the utmost pleasure, I am welcoming bodyy to do that interview. I've wanted to have that conversation for quite a while, and I think it is quite fitting and it is perfect that we're having that in person, so we can discuss some pretty cool topics. Obviously, thank you very much for agreeing to do that. Really appreciate it. So yeah, how are you feeling right now? Initial thoughts after the Fisher Playground. Unfortunately, you guys went out after a 0-2 loss to Tyloo, but you did beat Pain and Raratum previously. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about how you think the first event of the season went for you guys.
That was a very good event. Like, not gonna lie, I got really surprised by how we got treated throughout the whole event, and how, like, just by landing in Serbia and coming to this hotel, I got like really well like taken care of throughout the whole process. Like, comes from hotel rooms, accommodation, practice room is amazing, and just the way like the catering and those player managers that just come to you and like they know what they're doing. Like, you have a sense of like safety around them and stuff. And I think like, yeah, this event is really great, and I wish like more great like bigger teams were doing them. Maybe that we would not be invited in that case, but whatever. That tournament went well. First after the player break, and obviously the first game was rough. Like, we played Lin Vision and a lot of other exotic teams such as Raratum, Pain, and Tyloo. So it was like teams that were not used to play that much, except Pain that we played and eliminated us from the major. But I think always like experience to take against those teams, and I'm satisfied in a way that we made playoffs and that was our goal, but I just felt like we could have done way more.
What do you think went wrong? Because obviously this is, I think, has been a recurring topic with 3D Max. Because your guys' ceiling seems to be really high, right? Sometimes you can be competitive against some of the best teams in the world, but then you go up, and obviously Pain's on a hot streak right now after making the major playoffs and beating Furia there. But talk to me a little bit about what went wrong in that game against Tyloo, because obviously you guys were able to get your revenge against Pain for what happened at the major, which was a good result for you. But then you go against Tyloo, and it didn't really feel like things clicked for you at any point.
Yeah, that game against Tyloo was like kind of a revenge, because we played them in Pro League and we came to this matchup being like, okay, that's the first game of Pro League, and yeah, it's Tyloo, you know, like they were not rated as good as they are now. Like, they were top 200 VRs or something like this, and they just stole the shit out of our points at this moment, and we're like, oh yeah, we got stomped. That Jamyong guy, we took like a lot of things from him, and we're like, he's playing very well, and they have like a big like panel of strategy that we were not familiar with or we never knew about. And yes, like 2 days ago when we faced Tyloo, we knew like they had their coach, and regarding that, they just beat everyone they played, so they were like 2-0 and 2-1 against Australis or something, and we could not take them lightly for sure, but we still had that revenge to take, such as the game against Pain. And we came into that match like thinking like we had a good game plan and we knew how to play against them. And where Atom and Lin Vision, they play some similar way of like gaming in CS overall, like tactically and stuff. But Tyloo is something else. Not gonna lie, like they're one step above in my opinion. Even though like they're all super good individually, Tyloo is like playing as if they were like, I don't know, like sometimes tier 1 and stuff, even though they're playing with their coach. And yeah, I think we have this problem sometimes that we just don't click together in the game, because like individual don't do what they should do, like in role wise and stuff. Like, I think it's like a matter of the whole team. Like, there's not only one individual to blame, it's everyone, all 5 of us. And regarding that, like, our game is ish unstructured in some ways and ish structured, but if you just don't get the chance to play in the way that you usually do, we just get stomped most of the times. And that happened throughout last season against FaZe. Like, we got 13-0, 13-1, and some games that were not even close. So we need to fix that for sure and get to the way that we play usually, and to get as close to that as possible, even when we're not feeling it. So games are even closer, and as you said, like we have really good individuals. Our ceiling is super high. I can feel it now that I'd rejoined the team and I saw the progression of the players I used to play with. The addition of our new coach is gonna help us bring that for sure, but we just like obviously need a bit of time, and it was like he became the head coach like 1 week prior of this tournament, and we just like started practicing last week, so just had to find our feelings. And yeah, I think up to Cologne now to see with Overpass as well what we're up to.
Yeah, Overpass was a decent map, I think, for some French teams before. So that's going to be an interesting one. Talk to me a little bit about the dynamic between Maka and the new coach. What do you think tactically maybe changes for you guys from here onwards? What are the main things that you're focused on maybe fixing or giving a little bit more attention to going into the second season?
So I joined this team in February, and the coach was wasiNk, and he helped me quite a lot to like integrate into the team, and he was doing a pretty well job. And my coach right now, YouKnow, he was his assistant, and both of them were working relatively well together, and I think they had like a good synergy to how they wanted to approach the, like tactically for the team. And I think they didn't have the greatest synergy between Maka and wasiNk before, so I think we decided to make a move for that reason overall, and to make sure that we're not going into games where the game plan is not 100% shared for everyone. So from his position as an assistant coach, he could like get a big overview of what was going on and how players like they could get closer to players, because the coach was mainly about tactics and macro of the game, and the assistant coach was focusing more about how to get better individually and how to help this person in his position. And he just realized a lot about what players like to do and how they like to approach the game. And so when he joined the team, he made some adjustments in the game. I changed some positions, and some of the players did as well. I think this is like his biggest input as of now. So he put player in the conditions where they could perform to the best of their abilities, and that's really fair in my opinion. So I think they have like a lot of trust in between YouKnow and Maka. They know each other for quite a long time, and like even though he was assistant coach, I think he was speaking quite a lot with him before as well, and Maka was asking a lot for his opinion too, because he was rating both coaches like as like good tacticians, sorry. And now like I think they are pretty, they just need to adjust, and needs to like get to how he wants to approach his way of coaching, because he's relatively new to that. But I think like he, as I said before, he has a good overview and he knows pretty much how he wants to do that, and he just needs like to make it work throughout the events that we're gonna have to go through.
Okay, and I will take you a little bit back. We're going to talk a little bit about the major and what are some of the main outcomes out of this, or some of the main things that you guys were focusing on, maybe trying to evaluate on that experience. You did go through stage 2 in a really good way, right? You beat FaZe Clan in a BO3. You played some really good games, and then you went into stage 3, and I guess there was some tough matches, but maybe the last one against Spain was the most disappointing. So did you have the playoff expectations going into the major, and what do you think went wrong for you guys after the great success in stage 2 in comparison to the next one?
Yeah, that's a good question. For sure, stage 3 was one goal, and was like the lowest goal we could set for ourselves. And playoffs was one as well. Like we wanted to make it to there. We wanted to like achieve something that we never did before, and I wanted like that small ball that we have on the game where you make playoffs. I have one. I don't have enough, but I have one, and I wanted like to share it with the guys, and I would have been super fucking happy for them. But that's not what we did, and that's not like the outcome of it. But for sure, stage 2 went well, and there were some disappointing matches there though, and like pressure can make you like underplay and stuff. But I wouldn't say the pain game was actually the most disappointing one. When I look at it,
Navi?
Navi was definitely the one for me. Like, my personal opinion is that we could have, I don't want to say shit, I think it was like our 1-0 game against Navi after beating G2 in pretty easy fashion. Navi was really something that we had into our hands, and I feel like every team that beat us in this tournament, except Vitality, because they were untakeable, like they were somewhere else. When we played them at the end of the game, I was like, they're gonna win the major. Like, there's no doubt. Actually, there's no doubt. And like, regarding those games, like, I just felt like every team that we lost against, except Vitality, we could have just turned that around and made playoffs. Like, I'm sure of that. I'm 100% positive that if we, I don't know, like, what we were exactly lacking, but like, for sure the connection between our coach and our captain was not the greatest back then, and it could have helped us out for sure. But in the end, it's in the player's hands, and when you lead 12-8 and you're facing, like, obviously one of the best teams in the world, but you're in a 4 versus 2 position and you cannot finish that game, then you don't deserve to make it. Like, those points, those kills, those HPs that you take from players, like, they're not for granted, and you just have to make sure that you're 1000% committed to the round and to the team and whatever like happens into the game.
You say 1000% committed. This is one of the last things that I wanted to discuss, because you have had a really long career, right? If we go back to 2014, 2015, to the LDOC White days, and even before that, you were playing a little bit of Counter-Strike. You were part of that G2 French lineup in 2017, 2018, and after that, it's been a really long fight for you to try and find a way back into the highest level. Obviously, went through a lot of projects, the Falcons, Fnatic most recently, and now 3D Max. What is the thing that keeps you going? How do you sustain such a long career and keep playing, considering the fact that you're not even an in-game leader anymore? You are, in fact, maybe playing some of the best individual Counter-Strike that you've ever played in your career.
That's a good question. I've been struggling, yeah. I've been struggling from 2019 after my bench in G2 and realizing like how life was, like, by playing the video game and obviously making a lot of money for a young boy that was like uneducated in some way. Like, I finished graduating that I had my first contract, and just realized like how kind of unfair it is. Like, I mean, this life is so great, and you just have to acknowledge it and fully like take it, like,
Appreciate it.
You cannot like take it for granted at all. And the fact that I got benched from G2 like really humbled me and made me think like I was always like a modest person, like loyal and all that kind of stuff, like very easy morals, and like the way that I see life overall is by like loyalty and make sure that I'm always humble and I would not do like what I don't want people to do to me and that kind of stuff, like those like easy way of living your life. But yeah, like I try to get back into like recreating rosters and maybe changing roles and maybe like playing with friends again and seeing how it could go, and that was rough. That was rough. So when like COVID came and you could not play like LAN events and stuff, like you were just 24/7 home, and when I used to travel a lot for those tournaments, and again like I took a wave of being humbled again, and I was like, okay, this is gonna take a lot of time to get back up. And like those teams right now, from coming from tier 1 and playing into tier 3 and stuff, for those teams are like competitive and they can fight for it, and they're also cheating, but you have to make the best out of it. Like, you have to make it through anyway if you want to get back there. So at some point, like, I recreated my project. It was Double Pony. So like even before Falcons and Fnatic and stuff, like this is probably one of my greatest achievements back after G2 to now. like recreating this project with like Joko, Exercise, Afro, and Lucky. Like this was probably my biggest pride, like at some point in my career, and it made me realize like how doable it is, and with the right people around and the same mentality and all that kind of stuff, like that I didn't like really had conscious of, because I was just playing and I could not care less about like what was happening in the structure of the team. I just wanted to play the game. So it made me realize like how important some stuff are in that game and mentality wise. And as I said before, like even like finding a good org that supports you, because we get scammed a lot there. And then I was like, I don't want to get scammed anymore. Like I got burnt out. Like that was too much. Like I had some shits happening in my life and stuff. And yeah, I just decided like to quit that project and join a new one, and being like, okay, I took all this experience, like this G2 experience was something that helped me getting back there. Now all this experience has a new IGL and changing role and like do some management around the team. I had to do like coaching, management, analysis, and that was rough. That was a rough period. Made me realize like how good of a player I can be apart from that as well, and recenter on myself. And I joined Falcons, and that was probably one of my best period individually in CSGO. And then I got the opportunity to join Fnatic. It was not easy. Didn't have the results that I was expecting. And now all this made me like the player I am today as well. And that led me to this place, like in 3D Max. And I know like how grateful I am today to have like been through all of this. And like all I'm asking for is to make playoffs again, to play in arenas, to reach like playoff majors, to win one maybe one day. And yeah, I'm just so happy to get back there. And like that was my biggest goal ever since I got like benched out of G2. I didn't know what actually was going to happen to me, but I knew like this is what I do for a living. This is what I'm great at. This is what I want to experience again and see if I can get back up, because it was a hard and dark road to make it back there, like for almost 6 years now. And I'm super glad now. I'm super glad I just wanted to make it click as good as I can, and I'm contributing to that to the best of my abilities, and I just don't take anything for granted anymore. And I just know like how lucky we are to be here today and sit together.
We really are. And I am really thankful we get to share that conversation. I want to ask you a question that is really abstract, and I guess difficult to answer in a way, because the answer could be quite similar for a lot of people working in the industry. But what does Counter-Strike mean to you? How big is your passion for this game to keep you going for such a long period of time, and do that in the first place, not because of gaining something or winning something, but because of competing and the love for the game?
Comes a long way, if I'm gonna be honest. Like it comes a really long way. First time I played was maybe 19 years ago or something, when I was 9. And like I know like whenever I like put my hands on a mouse and play this game, it's just, like when you meet a girl and you're like, oh, what is going on? Like that might be my soulmate, you know what I mean? Like, and I got into like this computer game, and I was like, yeah, this game is something else. Like this is something I want to do. And I used to play a lot of sport, like football and shit. And ever since like I played this game, like it got way too much of my attention, if I gotta be honest. Like I know we talk about addictiveness of like, I mean, politics and stuff, they talk a lot about this, but kind of true in the sense that I felt like I got addicted to the feeling of playing this game. And like it even made me like stop sports. Like I think like I was really decent at sports, but like it made me like stop everything and just wanting to fully commit. And I even like, I'm gonna be honest here, but like skipped a lot of school, like in order like to play, and I don't like meet up with my friends, because like my parents didn't allow me to play after some time. So I knew like during the day, if my parents are not here, obviously I can play, right? So I skipped a lot of school and made sure like I could like fulfill that thing in me. But like now I know like it was the competitiveness of it, like all around, like all along, and the way, like, you know, like just get to click heads and like adapt, adjust, and make sure you get better one game after the other, and always like have fun like doing it, because it was also like, I think every player in their career or at any moment, they used to like always have a lot of fun before being professionals and stuff, and lose the spark for it because of how much we travel, how much like energy and sacrifices it takes, and you don't see it as a passion but as a job as of now. And like I think I went through that for sure, and like I got my spark back again, like maybe like 4 years ago. I just know like I just love the game way too much, and the way like all of the professionals dedicate their career and like their personal life and everything for their career is like, you know how much it means for all of them.
Okay, I think this is a great last note for this interview, and this is a really wholesome thing to discuss. But the last thing I will ask you is, what is next for 3D Max? What are the main goals and focuses? What are the things that you personally are focused on the most as of right now and for the near or long future as a player and as a person?
So there's obviously different distances of goals that you set, like those short, long, and middle term goals. And I would say on the short term, it's most likely like to qualify for the main stage of Cologne, and I would love the boys to experience what I experienced a few years back, to like play on stage and being in the cathedral and just live that moment is fucking insane. And obviously go as far as possible, but realistically, like I think we can make it. But IEM are rough, and the format is really punishing. Like it's no Swiss format, and you know, like you're gonna have to beat some of the best teams in the world. But we saw like from the past that it's doable for any outcoming team and stuff. So just want to make that for sure. Obviously, the long-term goal is the major, and once again, reach those playoffs and go as far. Like we saw that Mongols could make a final, and I think it's gonna motivate a shit ton of us. Not gonna lie, and seeing how close we were, in a sense. Like obviously we won 1-3, but like Navi was something we could deal with, and Pain was something we could deal with as well. Vitality was something else, but in the end, like we know that we can make that. We know that we have probably the greatest synergy, and I always tell the boys like how like lucky they are and we are to have this group of people and to be together in that shit, because sometimes you just like know how hard it is and how stuck you can get, but how like grateful we should be for this group of people that we have and this team overall. And yeah, we just want to make it together. We have this drive that is not in every team. Like you just want to make it for the person next to you, and this is the awesome feeling in like the most fulfilling when you play competitive. I think like just want to make it for yourself. For sure, of course, you have your own goals, but you want to make it for the guy next to you, and this is something I didn't experience in many like international teams, for example.
Okay, thank you very much. That will be everything. It was an absolute pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck throughout the season.
Thank you for the interview, boss. I liked it. I really appreciate it. And that sofa is nice.
It is very nice. Thank you very much.